So I'm back, and today we'll be completing the Beast Wars Seasons review, and this is Season 3, so we'll talk about this, I guess. I just confused myself. Anyway, so Season 3 takes place obviously right after the events of Season 2. Real quick, spoiler alert for the end of Season 2. This is where we get, it starts off when Prime is severely damaged because Megatron shot him in the face, and all realities being undone, and that's where this series starts. So the season opens, and basically what we get is, you know, the aftermath of what happened in Season 2. Megatron's master plan has been completely realized at this point, and now we're just trying to, or the Maximals are just trying to stop him from completing his ultimate plan. And yeah, it's a great season. Animation kind of took a little bit of a dip in quality. Depth charge looked more fluid than he did than the rest of the Transformers, who looked more like realistic. His animation wasn't as good. All the Transmetal 2s didn't look as good as the previous incarnations of them. So it kind of did take a little bit of a dive, and I kind of really felt like the creators knew it was over. They didn't want to put any more money into it. But still, all in all, it was a pretty good season. So again, Kids Rhino, not the Shot Factory. It opens up. Get the pamphlet here. Unlike the last one, this one's only 2 pages. They really tried to cram everything into one page. You get a cool shot of Cheetor from Season 1 for some reason. I don't know why they didn't put a Season 3 cast member or Cheetor's Season 3 body in here. And you get Season 1's, or you get Rhinox and Waspinator. Again, I don't know why they went that route, because, you know, and this is a very poor picture of Waspinator. It's very pixelated, like they zoomed in a lot to get it. The Rhinox is good, but I don't understand their choices on this. I really think they should have put some more Season 3 cast members on it, like they did in Season 2. And Season 1 had Season 1 on it, and Season 2 had, you know, they had Transmetal Megatron and Transmetal Optimus. But this one's got, like I said, Season 1 body Cheetor, and then 2 guys that never got upgrades. So I don't know why the decision for that was made. So anyway, this is the final season of the Beast Wars. Everything, you know, comes to an end. A very satisfying end, I felt. It had a little bit more campy to it than Season 2. Season 2 is definitely the darker and the superior with the story arcs. This one had some campy shit to it, and it did kind of bug me a little bit. It's still a great season, and like I said, it's a great ending to the series of the Beast Wars. Unlike Transformers Prime ending, where it was just kind of like, what? Really? Well, no, so Prime ended well. It ended on the movie, which was a bad point, I felt. But you know what I mean. Yeah. All in all, I rate this an 8 out of 10. Actually, I rated it a 7 out of 10. It's a good story. Like I said, it's a good ending. There's a lot of episodes in here that aren't as good as previous ones. They're just not as well written. The overall plot points are great, but they made some choices in here that I didn't like. So, spoilers from this point on. We're going to actually go into the episodes. So we got optimal situation. So Prime's damaged. He's dying. Black Arachnia activates the repair units. They start repairing Prime, but he's too far damaged to survive the trauma of the repairs. So the only thing they can think of is Primal takes Prime Spark and joins with it in his body and tells everyone, you gotta be quick because I can't hold it for very long. And you instantly see him going in pain and his body's falling apart. So, yes, they need to work quick. Megatron got blasted by Black Arachnia using the arc defenses. Megatron's, again, he's like, okay, this is yet another setback, but I've got a plan. And instantly goes with the plan. So Tarantulas rebuilds himself and runs off. Waspinator has put himself back together. He's with Megatron. Inferno puts himself back together, and he flies to Megatron. Rampage gets back up. Quick Strike gets back up. And all the little spider bots are there. And they continue their original plan, which was to destroy the Maximal base. So they got ropes. They're pulling the whole thing. They're going to drop it and just destroy it. So again, this goes into Megatron. Beast Wars Megatron's better than G1 Megatron because he has backup plans for his backup plans. He's always one step ahead of the game. Primal comes back up. It turns out he's now turned into Optimal Optimus. He's bigger, he's better, more powerful. He's transmittal with 4 modes. He's got jet mode, all-terrain vehicle, gorilla, and robot mode. Yeah, I thought it was a little overkill personally, but it was okay. So first thing he does is he's like, he's like, okay, Megatron, take it outside. We don't want to disrupt the future. Get outside. Megatron's like, you're not going to shoot. I know you won't shoot because you don't want to risk anything. And then Primal's like, we'll have 8 million years to scrape you off the wall. I think I'll risk it. So Megatron's quickly like, okay, got time to go. So they leave, and as they're leaving, they cause a cave-in so that they can get ahead of the game. So Primal gets the rest of the Maximals. They get ready to go. Megatron sees Black Arachnia trying to escape, shoots her, damages her pretty heavily. Silver Bullet finds her later on. He's like all upset because she's dying, whatnot, and with her last breath, she's like, "I'm not going to quit the Predacons, but for you, I'll join your side." And awesome, great, whatever. Blech. Love stories don't belong here. It's okay, but it just doesn't belong here. Anyway, so we got. Turns out she was just going to the stasis lock, so they repair her. Cheetor starts trying to follow Primal, but Primal's way too fast, and then Cheetor takes out Inferno, I think, and Primal takes out Waspinator, and then just totally smashes Megatron. Gets to the base in time to see that Rampage has already has already knocked the base off. Most of it has crashed into the water. It's gone. It's destroyed. And Rampage gets away. Quick Strike's gone. Tarantulas is over there doing his hissing laughter. And so now Primal realizes that there's no other option, so they move into the Ark. Or the outside of the Ark with what's left of the Maximal base. And that's the starting point of the season. Is they are now in the Ark, or by the Ark, trying to defend the Ark. So they're always on the defense, and the Predacons are always on the offense. They're always doing things that, small attacks to just keep the Maximals on guard. Blow holes in the walls, just so that they're always having to repair and stay on defense. They can't bring the attack to the Predacons, which was genius. Anyway, next episode is Deep Metal. We find Depth Charge. We get Depth Charge, who has flown for Cybertron, disregarded all the rules and regulations to hunt down Rampage and kill him. That's his ultimate goal. It's kind of like the Omega Supreme type story arc, just where they're just blind to everything else. Vengeance is the only thing they want. They get in this huge epic battle. It's awesome. And Depth Charge comes out on top, but then Quick Strike gets a sneak attack on him. Quick Strike's good at that. Predacons go back to base. Maximals find Depth Charge, fix him up. Depth Charge, Primal tells them the story that he was in charge of security, and when Rampage escaped, Rampage leveled the colony. Depth Charge was the only one left. So it was a great story arc. And Depth Charge, he realizes the situation that Primal's in, and he doesn't care. He's got one goal, and that's to kill Rampage. So next one is Changing of the Guard. That's one where the Maximals are like, okay, we got to stop this defense thing. We got to figure something out. We have to go and salvage Sentinel, which was their defense program for the base, which is now at the bottom of a river. And they try to contact Depth Charge. Depth Charge won't answer because Depth Charge doesn't give a shit. So instead, Black Arachne had built a submarine, and Rat Trap ends up going underwater to go get Sentinel. And Rampage catches him, and he's like, oh, rat in a cage. How droll. And he starts, crushing him. And, it was great. Depth Charge shows up. Huge, awesome fight between the two again. And then the Predacons and Maximals kind of go back and forth trying to get the Sentinel program. The Depth Charge decides, because he was going to kill Rampage, but Rampage got away. He's like, okay, I'm going to go help the Maximals out. And as he does that, he ends up crashing into Silverbolt, and that causes them to drop the Sentinel program. Inferno grabs it, flies off. So now the Predacons now have the shields and all that stuff, and the Autobots don't, or the Maximals don't. And this is where Primal's like, look, you cannot be a loose cannon anymore. You have to either join us or just leave. So Depth Charge joins the Maximals. Next one was Cutting Edge. That's where we see the first of Megatron's Transmetal 2 technology. He designed some Velociraptors, and they are programmed to go hunt down humans, to continue on with that plan of, let's just kill the humans. And back in Optimal's situation, you see Primal put the spark of Prime back into Prime. So, anyway, they realize that Maximals realize these things are really dangerous, and they need to destroy them. Humans end up helping them out, solving the problem, and then Primal gets shot with a transmetal poison, and that's the start of the almost every episode, because they made Primal too strong. Almost right off the bat, he got injured, or something would happen, and he would not be able to help the rest of the Maximals. And that was another one of those, not the best storytelling. That's why it's a 7 out of 10, out of 10 out of 10, or anything like that. It's, they had to figure out ways to get Primal out of the story arc so that they didn't have a one-sided fight. So then there's Feral Scream Part 1 and 2. That's where Megatron's doing experiments with the Transmetal 2 driver, and he uses the Transmetal 2 driver on a dead protoform, gives it half a Rampage's spark, and creates Dinobot 2. Now completely loyal to Megatron. And that was another thing. It's like, really, Dinobot? There's, they had released all these Transmetal 2 characters in the toys, and it's like, I would have loved to see Scourge, Jawbreaker. I mean, yeah, Jawbreaker was Maximal, but you know what I mean? I mean, I wanted to see something a bit different, not Dinobot again. It's like, okay, he's dead, let's leave him dead, why bring him back? So, there's some exchange there. Depth Charge is always trying to, he's got his detectors tuned to Rampage's spark, so he ends up finding Dinobot 2 instead, and Dinobot 2 kicks crap out of him real quick. So yeah, it was okay. Turns out Cheetor got caught in an explosion, and he becomes Transmetal 2 as well. Now he's no longer acting as the kid, he's now acting like teenager, rebellious age, and it's like, it got annoying, is what happened. Let's see. Proving Grounds, that's one where Black Arachnia, she tried to use the Transmetal driver on her. It didn't work. It damaged her, and their Maximals are talking about, what are the options, and they're talking about severing the Predacon chip inside her because it was damaged. She didn't like it, so she ran off. She ends up getting stalked by Dinobot 2, who turns out a lot more powerful than she thought. He gets in a fight with Silverbolt. Silverbolt gets the crap kicked out of him. All in all, it was a throwaway episode. Yeah, it had some plot points to it. It was a decent episode, but it kind of, it's like, I wasn't a huge fan of Black Arachnia. I mean, she was a good character, but I wasn't a huge fan of it. And Dinobot 2 I was not a fan of because of the fact that it's just a clone of Dinobot, and it's like, we've done the Dinobot story arcs. Can we please have something new? So it was a little disappointing. Next one was Go With The Flow. The Predacons built a device that was they were going to fire at the Maximal headquarters and the Ark, and it will shut down all Cybertronian life. This was more of a campy episode. Depth Charge gets shot with it, so he's just kind of floating around. Rat Trap's riding him. There's humans involved. The Megatron... This is one where Megatron was just being stupid. They hadn't finished the casing on the device, and he decided to activate it before they had finished the casing. Once they activated it, they realized they can't get close enough to it to finish the casing. And if they turned it on, the whole casing would the whole thing would just backfire and shoot them too. So he decided that he needed to find humans to do it. So he grabs some of those humans and tries to show them how to do it. Sorry, just pause the camera for a second there. Yeah, so I mean, it was just like, you didn't think that through all the way, Megatron, and usually you do. So that was a little disappointing. You have Rat Trap against most of the Predacons. Dinobot 2 shows up, quickly makes Rat Trap realize, oh, I'm way outclassed here. Tries to save the human, ends up grabbing the human, getting out of there, and as it turns out, The human had switched the processor chip with a rock or something like that, and it all blew up. Predacons are defeated, and Maximals go home. It's like it was one of those episodes. It wasn't a very good episode. Didn't have any real plot to it. You did see a human chop up Waspinator because Cheetor told him to go for the joint, so she did, and it wasn't a very good one. I mean, it was fun, it was campy, but it wasn't a very story-driven episode. Crossing the Rubicon. This is where things started getting better. And Black Arachnia is still damaged from trying the Transmetal 2 driver. And so she now, the only choice is they have to go in there and sever the Predacon chip, otherwise she's going to die. And so they do. So they go after it. They try to shut it down. Warning signal goes to Tarantulas, saying they're messing with it. So he contacts Megatron and says, hey, they're messing with my shit. Megatron's like, oh, well, this will go great with my plans in the future. So he has more plans, and that comes into the next episode. So sure enough, Megatron called it. Black Arachnia transfers all the data of the disc to Primal. So Primal now has it. And the Predacons decide, okay, we're just going to attack the Maximal base and distract them and try and cause power disruption so that they fail and she dies. So they do that, continuously attacking, and it fails. She dies. Silverbolt goes dark, and he wants blood, and that's all he wants. So he devised that the only one that was responsible for it was Tarantulas. So he goes after Tarantulas, and he quickly kicks the crap out of him. I mean, Tarantulas is in bad shape. Silverbolt takes one of his sword missiles, stabs it in the ground. He's got Tarantulas, and he's about to just spike him onto it. And you see Rampage watching this whole thing and enjoying it, and he's like, such pain. I must help deepen it. And so he jumps in and then he attacks Silverbolt, saying, you know, that's not very maximal of you. And so he's ready to kill Silverbolt. And that was awesome. Then Black Arachnia turns out that she didn't die, and now she's just got a Transmelt 2 body, and she attacks and beats Rampage, which I don't understand. And she also developed telepathy powers. Whatever. The episode was good, but not as good as we've seen from these writers. So in the end, Black Arachnia is fine. Everyone's fine, but now she's got a new body. And that was another point of irritation for me. It's like, okay, the Maximals got depth charge at the beginning of the episode. Primal got a major upgrade at the beginning of the season. Black Arachnia now is a Transmetal 2, and so is Cheetor. Predacons lost Black Arachnia to the Maximals, and they have Dinobot 2. That's it. Maximals are way outpowering and way outnumbering the Predacons. The only thing the Predacons got going for them is the shield. Then there's Master Blaster. This one is where they decide they had built a fake robot that would allow Quick Strike to control whoever they put this little bug into. And they put the bug into Primal. So now the Predacons now have control of Primal. And Primal dispatches all the Maximals with the exception of Black Arachnia, who got away, and Depth Charge, who wasn't on the scene. So the plan was Megatron was going to go in there, get the original Megatron Spark, and then get the same kind of power that Primal has. That's a decent plan. Well, Tarantulas had his own plans. which would he had Quick Strike. As soon as Megatron was absorbing the spark, he had Quick Strike drop him into lava, and then he programmed the arc to self-destruct. So Black Arachne and them, she stops it from self-destructing, but Megatron comes back as a dragon, as a Transmetal 2 dragon. Awesome intro. He's just slowly, the dragon head slowly raising up out of the lava, and he looks at Tarantulas and he's like, I can live with your treachery, but not your failures. Which was awesome. And he burned him up pretty bad. And it was just like, I don't care if you try and betray me, because I know I'm better than you. But don't fail me. Or don't fail trying to kill me. Just, if you're going to do it, do it. Kind of thing. So yeah, he lets Tarantulas live. Gets in a fight with Primal. Kicks the crap out of Primal real quick. And then when the rest of the Maximals show up, that's when he's like, okay, I gotta fall back. And he leaves. Which goes into other victories, where at the beginning they're having a trial for Quick Strike on whether or not they're going to kill him. And which was great because he didn't kill Tarantulas because Tarantulas is useful. Even though he's treacherous, he's useful. Quick Strike is not useful. He serves really no purpose. He's small, he's weak, and I thought that was great. That's how they were doing it. It was they're like, okay, we're going to just kill the weak one. Not the best plan because they're already low on troops. The Maximals outnumber them. But whatever. And then the Vok, realizing that Megatron has been fucking with time and space, they decide that, okay, we're done with him. We're going to kill him. Not knowing that he had G1 Megatron's spark in him, and that would fuck up time even more. So they take Tigatron and they take Airazor, combine him into Tigerhawk, take over Tigerhawk, fly to Earth, and the first thing it does is to just destroy the Predacon base. So now the Predacons are out. They have no base. He quickly just waves his hand, just dispatches all the Predacons, and beats Megatron pretty badly. He's ready to kill him. Primal intervenes, tries to stop him, tries to explain. Tigerhawk's like, no. Crushes him inside some rocks and goes back to about to kill Megatron when he gets poisoned by Tarantulas. And Tarantulas takes him, and his plan is to evict the aliens from him and use him as a mindless core robot and use that to destroy the Ark. And his justification for that is him and the Triperticus Council are not from the Ark, so they would not be affected by its destruction, and it would put them as rulers. So they're probably somehow descendants of probably like Shockwave or somebody. Anyway, so that's what we see. He gets the aliens out of him. Turns out that they come out and they start trying to possess him. His device turns around and deactivate or malfunctions and destroys him. All that's left is his shins. So Tarantulas is dead. And the joined sparks of Airazor and Tigatron make it so that they are now one entity, and they're now on Maximals. Which, again, I mean, this was a great story arc. I really enjoyed this episode. But the end of it, that's when you realize, okay, so now the Predacons have Quick Strike, Megatron, Rampage, Dinobot 2, Inferno, and Waspinator. And no base. Right? Quick Strike, Megatron, Inferno, Rampage, Waspinator. I think I'm missing some. And Dinobot 2. So that 6 guys, no base. Whereas the Maximals, they have a base. And they have Primal, Cheetor, Rat Trap, Rhinox, Black Arachnia, Depth Charge, Silverbolt, and Tigerhawk, who is insanely powerful like Primal. So, they're outnumbered by 2 and way outpowered. So, Predacons are in bad shape. So, first thing they do is they go, and this goes into Nemesis Part 1 and 2. So they go to Tarantulas' base and realize that he had some secrets. And one of those secrets is that he had started to refurbish the Nemesis, which is the ship that shot down the Ark from the first episode of G1. Waspinator, Quickstrike, and Inferno decide that they're going to try and go find a new base, and their idea was to take it from humans. And, Quickstrike's like, oh, I don't want it. There's all these humans there. That's gross. And Inferno's like, they don't have to be there when we're done. We can just kill them all. Which was cool. Waspinator decides, I don't want anything to do with this anymore, so they shoot him. So he's deactivated at this point. So it's an underwater tunnel to the Nemesis. And Primal's like, okay, the only one that can go there is Depth Charge. Look, this is bigger than your feud with Rampage. You need to stop the Nemesis. So Depth Charge is like, I understand. You don't have to tell me again. I know I have my thing with Rampage, but this is bigger. I need to stop this. So he goes after it. Only to end up getting in a fight with Rampage, where they end up fighting at the bottom of the ocean with raw energon swords, which was a really great fight scene. Really awesome. And the back and forth in between the two is great in that. And in the end, Depth Charge stabs Rampage through the heart with raw energon, or through the spark with raw energon, causing a huge explosion, killing both of them. They're dead. They ain't coming back. They're gone. You see Dinobot 2 freaking out because he's linked to Rampage, and now Rampage is dead, and that makes his spark more whole. So Primal's telling everybody, okay, it's done, it's over, and then all of a sudden Nemesis rises up from the sea. And that's awesome. I really enjoyed that. So now the Nemesis is out, and it starts headed towards the Ark. Megatron still has G1 Megatron Spark, and he's like, oh, I'll just destroy the whole planet, or the whole mountain. Just wipe out all the Decepticons and the Predacons, or Decepticons, the Maximals, and the Autobots, and let G1 Megatron run the show from the get-go, which, would have worked in a way. So he's flying it out. Tigerhawk tells Primal, go get reinforcements. The plan was to move the Ark, I guess. So he tells him, go, I'll hold him off, and he does all his storm thing gimmick, and Megatron's just like, oh, that's cool. Kills him. Which was awesome. Oh, I love that. And as he's flying towards it, towards the Ark, he sees all the humans, and he's like, oh, I should just destroy them too. And, you see Quickstrike and Inferno like, no, we're down here, don't do that. And Megatron's just like, and I think you could see that he knew they were down there, and that was even more the reason why he hit the button, was because he was done with Quickstrike's incompetence and Inferno constantly calling him Queen. He's just like, okay, you're done. And killed them both. And now he's flying towards the Ark. It doesn't have enough power to blast the Ark yet, so instead he starts a tractor beam, which turns out it was just big swirly fans of death. And he's pulling the Ark up, and he's gonna pull it out and then blast it, which was great. They find out, the Maximals find out that Primal flies up into the ship to have a final showdown with Megatron. They're fighting. It's not going very well for Primal. Dinobot tries to intervene. Megatron blasts him too. He's like, fuck you. I'm done with all of you. Done with the betrayals. I'm done with incompetence. I'm just done. Yeah, he sees the home stretch, and he doesn't care what he has to give up and who he has to kill to get it. And that was awesome. Then Rhinox comes flying out of nowhere, blasts through the Nemesis with a small little arc shuttle, knocking Megatron out, and the whole thing's blowing up. Primal tries to save Dinobot, and Dinobot's like, just go. So Primal does. Crashes, explodes, Dinobot's dead. And at the end, they take the Arc Shuttle because it wasn't in the records, and they're like, okay, well, if we take this and it was never in the records, it's not going to affect anything. Which, they have a point. It never was in G1. So, if it was there, nobody ever used it. And it got destroyed when Triplicon smashed the base up. So, they get on the shuttle. They're flying. The deleted scene wasn't in this episode, even though it says that the deleted scenes were added. It wasn't. But Primal takes the Megatron G1 Spark and puts it back in G1 Megatron, and then they tie him up to the back bumper of the spaceship, and they leave. And then right after they fly off, headed home, cuts back to prehistoric Earth, and there's Waspinator sitting on a big throne with all the humans worshiping, and he's like, Waspinator, finally happy. And that was the end of the Beast Wars. I had problems with this season. Some of the episodes weren't as good. Some of the graphics weren't as good. But that final 2 episodes were so good that I will never argue with it. I love this. I love the episodes. I love the season. It's a great season. Great conclusion to the series. Absolutely loved it. Yeah, I can't think of it ending any other way. I can't, it's not like the Prime movie where I sat there the whole time like, oh, I wish I would have done this and this and this. Yeah, I wish they would have introduced a different character other than Dinobot 2, but aside from that, I can't think of any better way to have concluded the series than the way they did. And I loved it. Question of the day is, it's more for those people that have actually seen this show. What were your thoughts on the ending of the series? Was it good for you? Was it good enough for you? Do you wish it would have ended differently? Do you wish it wouldn't have ended and just kept going? Or do you think it was crap? I enjoyed it. I thought it was great. I love the Beast Wars, as I've said before. It's my favorite series of Transformers. So, I guess that's it. So, next I'll do my top 10 favorite Beast Wars episodes, and then we'll go into Beast Machines.